better to do.
I mean, we could be at work, but
Yeah, we could.
I actually, I will admit, I talked to my boss who actually plays Warcraft now. She was an EverQuest player, and she's been playing WoW for about 8 months, partly because of me. And I asked her if I could come in a couple hours later today, so I wouldn't miss the announcement, and she let me do that. So that's one sign of having an awesome boss who understands your needs for nerd and geekdom.
Yeah, that's really nice actually. Um, so we are what? We're about 15 minutes from the supposed starting time.
Hmm.
Ro,
Yeah.
are you sticking with your predictions on the show? You haven't
Well,
been
well, let
talked out
me
of it.
well let me make things clear. My predictions. The reason why I went in very wacky directions with my predictions, and just like I remember a time when we were talking about the Dark Below and all that stuff, and I decided to stick with the Dark Below all the way up until Warlords of Draenor was announced, even though by well before Warlords of Draenor was announced, I knew the Dark Below wasn't going to be it. I'm just going to stick to my guns for the sake of sticking to my guns, and I'm just excited to see what happens. I guess the only thing I'm wondering is there anything that would not hype me? Is there anything that would not get me excited? Would anything I see get me excited? I think the only thing that would make me hesitant would be something like more of Draenor, you know?
So the idea we've proposed so
Yeah,
far.
the idea we just if it was like the continuation of Draenor, if they decided to save Farallon and some of these other areas to be explored in the next expansion, would that make me hesitant? Yeah. Would an alternate Azeroth make me hesitant? Kind of, yeah. Uh, if it ends up being Eye of Ashara, okay, whatever. I won't be down about it, but I'll be like, okay, everyone was right. Let's see where it goes. Um, the thing I want most is I want to be surprised. And honestly, if it ends up being either one of my predictions, I'm going to be surprised by that. So I think that's where I'm coming from more, John, is I want to be surprised. And the amazing thing I have to point out here is we're 15 minutes away from this sucker starting. Where are the leaks?
Well, don't go looking for leaks. Don't spoil
But no,
yourself
but
on.
no, no, no. That the thing is that you you can try going looking and they aren't there. I
Well,
mean, I am amazed and impressed that this stuff has stayed under wraps this long. Warlords of Draenor, people knew about it about I think 4 days before the BlizzCon announcement, even though people were still skeptical. Now, true, we have some possible supposed trademarks, leaks, and stuff out there. Eye of Ashara, Council of Glades, the Dark Prophet, so on and so forth. But none of them have really come out as being solid forerunners. I mean, uh, with Warlords of Draenor, I remember it was a couple days before BlizzCon where MMO Champion basically said, yeah, we're pretty sure this is the announcement. They have not come out and been so bold to say what the expansion is, which means Blizzard has either paid some people a lot of money or just been excellent at keeping things in the dark.
so Ro, Prismal Lynn in the chat room had a question for us and
Okay.
asked, so question for you guys, non-expansion wise, but what would you think for a WoW loyalty program so the longer you sub, you get rewards, whether it be mounts, toys, stuff to help you in game,
Mm,
etc. This is something I've seen a lot of people talking about lately, is
yeah,
the
I
idea
brought it up
of
last
them
night.
implementing something like that. Um, do you have strong thoughts on a loyalty program? I mean, beyond
Yeah.
getting a statue if you subbed for 10 years.
I don't care about the physical reward thing as much. I think it's cool that the 10-year people got their statue, and that's a whole other bucket of fish. I am surprised that World of Warcraft never went in the direction of a loyalty program. Now, arguably, you could say that for the majority of its lifespan, World of Warcraft didn't have any real necessity for that because they were the number one top dog. They were not only ahead, but for half of its lifespan gaining. now, after these sharp declines, now I imagine that obviously Blizzard knew about the 1.5 million drop at the end of June, so a good month or so ahead of announcing it on the earnings call. I feel like if ever there was a time to start a loyalty program, this is it. And I would not be surprised at all if, you know, how these expansion trailers go, where you have that last 10 seconds flash several different key features like new class, new race, blah, 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 and then this and that. I would not be surprised if one of those things is transmog system update, and if another one of those things is loyalty program.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. I have no problem with it. I think loyalty programs are fine. I mean, people are going to get frustrated about anything, so I don't think giving credit to anybody who would get frustrated by a loyalty program is worthwhile, because it's one of those things, like, as long as it's not anything that's, you know, giving another player a major advantage over another, and
Yeah,
Blizzard has always been very
vanity
good
stuff.
about that. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you want it, stay subbed. If you don't, I can see it, like, okay, so if I'm trying to think of what would bug me if they did a loyalty program, here's what would bug me. If they said, you only get it if you're actually subbed, WoW token doesn't count.
Yes.
Which I don't think they would do, but that is the one thing that I could see them saying that would actually make me go, well, that's not right.
I would definitely grumble about that too, because that feels a little akin to like, say, the Blackrock Mountain pre-release for Hearthstone, where you can only get that card back if you did the pre-release by cash. You couldn't buy the adventure set with gold to get the card back. So yeah, it's kind of along those lines. I definitely agree with you. I think that as long as you're subbed, regardless of your payment method, you should be eligible for loyalty rewards if such a program were to be put in place.
So we've got our chat detectives working full-time, and now we're seeing a lot of links to a theme change on the Blizzard site with a very green motif. Oh my gosh, Ro. What if this is... So it's already been suggested. What if this is Emerald Dream? After the tirade...
That picture has been one that's been used for the Emerald Dream quite a bit. Oh my god, John! If it's the Emerald Dream, the WoW community may implode upon itself.
I don't know how to keep living in a world where it's.
You know what this would remind me of? Okay, did you watch E3?
Yes.
The Sony conference?
Yes, it would be a Sony conference move where it's like, we're finally doing the thing that people always think we're doing and we never are.
Right, it'd be kind of akin to that. You guys have been waiting for the Emerald Dream for years, and we said that we'd probably never do it. Well, we're finally doing it, guys, in HD.
and just like all those things, it's whatever. Well, I don't particularly want Emerald Dream. I've never wanted Emerald Dream.
Well, okay, let's go down this road since we have this, since this graphic is here now. So let's go down this road for a few minutes. If they did an Emerald Dream, things we know about the Emerald Dream is that the Emerald Dream is kind of like a blueprint for Azeroth. It was in its purified, uncorrupted state. It was basically how Azeroth was like before the Sundering, before pretty much anything. Then you had the old gods mess with it some, and you had an area of the Emerald Dream become the Emerald Nightmare, and you had a satyr get involved with its corruption. You had the events of Storm Rage take place and all that stuff. So, if we had an Emerald Dream expansion, I would have to imagine that there'd be a heavy Night Elf theme to it. So here's my problem with the Emerald Dream. The Emerald Dream being what it is, doesn't really create that many opportunities for cities and towns. As far as we know, there aren't any outside of maybe Dryads and Night Elves and Green Dragonflight. There aren't too many groups of intelligent civilizations in the Emerald Dream. It's a very primal, natural place. I feel like it would be very out of the element for Warcraft, and it's just, to me, it sounds like a great idea for a content patch. I could see us doing the Emerald Dream kind of like how Firelands was done in Cataclysm. You know, you have this one area with your daily quests and stuff, and you had a raid based off of the Firelands and all that stuff. I could see the Emerald Dream as a content patch. Awesome. That'd be great. I can't see doing the Emerald Dream for an entire expansion. I just don't know if there is enough you can mine out of the Emerald Dream.
I'm in the same boat. Sorry, while you were doing all that, I've been doing a little volume mixing, getting ready, so we don't have to try and figure that out once the stream actually starts.
Right.
Hopefully we've got the balance pretty good. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about the Emerald Dream. It's a cool idea, but I don't know how you do it, and I guess that's the part I'm curious about, right? Is obviously Blizzard has had to think about it too. How do they do that?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just a red herring. I'm going to say for now it's a red herring.
They know. I also have to think, like, with Blizzard themselves making jokes about Naga as playable race, I think that's not happening.
Right. And that's also an important thing, because they said playable Nagas, then it's likely not happening. And does that also help quell the rumors of an Eye of Ashara Naga-focused expansion?
I don't know. It's hard to say where that balance is then.
John, who do you think is going... Okay. Name one character that we're going to see in this preview trailer for the next expansion.
Yrel.
You can go with a serious answer or a wacky one. You think we'll see Yrel?
Yeah.
I'm going to put my money on Gul'dan.
Okay. Yeah, Gul'dan's a safe bet, I would think.
I'm also going to say we're going to see a gnome in this one. Not in the actual cinematic for the expansion, but they'll find a way to put a gnome in here. Just because.
Okay. I don't think we get a cinematic yet, right?
No, we're not. So we're not going to see the real cinematic thing that like you would see at the beginning of the expansion. In fact, depending on the timeline, that may be something they reveal at BlizzCon if we're looking at like an early next year launch. But what we're going to get is like a kind of the teaser cinematic-y kind of thing, like we saw for Mists of Pandaria and Warlords of Draenor. I mean, the Warlords of Draenor thing we saw at BlizzCon a couple years ago was still pretty impressive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it was, and I think you're right. I think it's a perfect choice for BlizzCon.
Yep. Of course, one thing that we've seen, and just kind of a general theme about all of this, that the expansion's being announced at Gamescom, that we had the cinematic for Warlords being announced outside of a normal Blizzard event. I think one thing that we are starting to learn more and more is that all of the usual rules that we've come to expect about World of Warcraft and its content can be broken and will be broken. And the question now is, what does that say toward what we're about to see in about 4 minutes? Of course, here's another thing. This reveal lasts for an hour. How deep into this do we have to wait till we actually see the trailer teaser?
Right. How much of the...
How much opening hype are we going to have until... How long will Chris Metzen be on the stage and say, "Picture a world"?
Yeah.
Imagine yourself.
Geek is. Where's my horde at? You know, that sort of thing.
Where all the Alliance at? The rivalry between the Alliance and the Horde will be like as it never has been before.
We're making it center focus again. Alright, everybody
same
watching
time-
the stream is going to get to see some weirdness real quick while I transition over to showing the video. So everyone just prepare for that here.
And there are plenty of other Twitch streamers who are showing the stream within our stream, so yes, it is legal and legit. Community managers have said it's fine. So Blizzard doesn't want to stop people from talking about it and hyping about it and streaming it. They don't care where we watch this. They're just happy. When you're down to 5.6 million after you were at 10 million, I think Blizzard just has to be happy that people are paying attention.
There's a big me on the screen. Sorry, I was very excited to see that I'm now on the screen.
Hey.
Actually, I'm not. I debated for a long time if I actually wanted to turn on the camera or not.
Yeah, I'm not going to do camera because I'm afraid of the weird faces I will make during the trailer.
I got up early, and that's why I'm wearing a hat. Because
how can you? Okay, John.
What?
Are you saying you have bedhead?
I have a bad hair day right now, which is weird, I know. Let me tell you.
For those who aren't in the stream often and have not watched Azeroth Roundtable on the live stream, John doesn't have a lot of hair that can go bad. That's my rule.
Well, I mean, that's the problem, right? So the ideal hair situation for me is to have none.
Yeah.
When I have some, that's the bad hair day. So
Gotcha.
I need to shave my head, and I haven't.
Understand.
Hat. I need to shave my face too, but at least that's all right. We'll live with that. We'll live with that. Hi, DG in the chat.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna give me a specific hi, John. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. What's going on? What's new?
Oh, 1 minute to go.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think one thing I just want to reiterate, something that I said really quickly on Twitter, and I'm going to say it here. This is not the whole story. Don't judge too quickly by what we see. I mean, it's okay to have initial feelings and thoughts and stuff like that. Of course, John and I are going to give our reactions and stuff. But this is not the end-all, be-all. This doesn't make or break the expansion. Take a look at Warlords. Look at how hyped it made people, and then look where it was at this point. So, we'll see what happens. But all told, I'm just excited for change right now is really the point.
Yeah. I got a question for you. Do you think this logo we're looking at in silhouette here is the logo? Or do you think they just picked one of their old expansion logos and blacked out the bottom?
I'm going to go with the latter.
So we're officially at time. So
Yes.
this is time for the stream to start. Once it begins...
Sound went out.
Once
Here
it
we
begins, chat, I just need you to let me know if you need it turned up, if we're too loud over it. Obviously, we want to be heard if we have stuff to say, but...
we'll try not to talk too much during the...
Yeah, I mean, we want you guys to get to enjoy it too, so we're going to be quiet when we need to, but I also need to know that the volume levels are where they need to be. So when we do start, let me know if it's too loud, if it's too quiet, what's going on, because it's hard to judge the music they were playing based on, what we have.
Exactly. Oh, man.
We're going to start. It's starting. Maybe.
Look at the logo in the lower right.
Oh, here we go.
The fact that the Iron Horde logo's in the lower right has me concerned, John. I don't like that logo being there.
It is scary.
Oh, man. Okay, so look at the World of Warcraft logo, just the plain logo. That's what was in silhouette.
Yeah,
And
I think you're right.
obvious.
These people are excited.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine somebody was supposed to be on stage at this point. Oh, there we go.
Chris Metzen, you've changed.
You're not Chris Metzen. Turning this up a little bit. Oh, That's the opposite of turning it up.
As going to reveal the new World of Warcraft expansion.
Is that Tracer? I think that's Tracer.
We're gonna
We've
have
had an
three
Overwatch
members
character
of the
come
lovely
up.
World of Warcraft development team coming here on this stage, revealing the expansion and sharing everything they can with us today. But before all of that is gonna happen, I just want to make sure that we're all up on speed.
Okay, I'm
right?
gonna mess
We
with
wanna-
volume for a
we wanna
moment.
know where we stand right now in World of Warcraft, and that's why we prepared a little video for you.
And here
on
comes
the story so far. And I
the
tell
story
you
so
something,
far.
apparently, I have been
What?
told that there's a little surprise
This should be
at the
short.
end, so let's try to watch out for that. And let's look at the video.
How far back are we going?
The Iron Horde will prevail, and all that stand against us will die. Storm the bottom!
Uh-oh.
Hey, look at that.
The stream paused for you?
Yeah, it did.
Bring your war chief. We'll all die.
Previously in World of Warcraft.
I'm going to say this is concerning me.
The stuttering stream?
Well,
Or
not just
the
that,
video?
but that we're seeing these scenes to catch us up, that we're seeing an Iron Horde logo in the lower right is concerning me.
We're gonna
Stream, pick it up.
we're gonna keep thinking.
We're gonna keep going.
Dare you show your face here, Gundam? You men have died for nothing. There is only
Oh boy.
choice. I will build a new horde.
Eh.
Yeah.
I will forge an unstoppable weapon. They will defy you.
And then...
And then what happened?
Failed. Jenna is free.
I killed all these Draenei, let's be friends!
Yeah, I butchered a lot of people.
I fear this is only beginning.
Is it only the beginning, Khadgar?
Let's hope it's not only the beginning.
That is the
God.
story so far.
I'm worried!
Interesting. So now, of course,
This is
the
supposed to
big
be about
question is,
hope, not fear.
where do we go next? What is happening next? And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one curious to that question. And that means we really want to know more, don't we?
No, no.
Yeah,
We
let's
do. We do indeed.
turn it off.
And who better to ask some
We're
question? And then the game director and vice president himself, Tom Chilton, ladies and gentlemen.
Interesting.
Hey, it's Tom Chilton.
And not Metsu.
Tom, it's always great to see you back. It's not your first Gamescom. You're looking at so many excited faces. How excited are you about this
No
announcement?
joke. This is really, really exciting. This is amazing. I love coming to Gamescom, and frankly, this is why.
He's
Yeah,
smiling,
it's
but
an
I
amazing
almost feel like
crowd.
he's got
That's
this
pretty
deer in
darn obvious.
headlights.
Yeah, it really is.
I like Tom. He always
Now,
seems happy everywhere he
You
goes,
can
though.
tell the
right?
atmosphere here is pretty
Although,
good, I
that
would
thing
say.
on the back of
You
his
guys
head
did.
right now
How
makes
was
him
it
look
in
like an
the office? You
android.
guys have been working on this
They've
secret
got
for
him
such a long
kitted
time
up
now.
real
Yeah,
good.
we really have. We've been
Yeah.
in production on this expansion for quite some time now, and it's always very hard to keep things under wraps and talk about what's happening right now and not really spoil things for the future too much. So it's really exciting for us, really gratifying for us to finally be able to share that with you all.
Well, the good thing
Chat room, is
I
the sound
read
level
a
on
lot
this
of
okay?
suspicions and
Yeah, I
leaks,
tried
but,
turning it up.
yeah,
How
I
are
don't
we
know. I
sound
don't think
wise,
anyone really
chat?
hit the nail so far, so that no one did, and that makes it all the more exciting. Now, you brought us a little something.
Everyone
to
in
ease
Germany
into
has the
topic,
same
what we're
haircut.
gonna see now.
Right, exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a video that it's really an important connecting point between the end of the storyline of Warlords of Draenor and the next expansion. And
Are
so
you showing
hopefully
us
you guys
lore that
will
didn't
get
happen in
excited
game,
for
Tom
the next
Chilton?
point.
Really?
Right, so let's take a look at it.
They still say it's a little quiet. I will turn it up after this.
Here we go. Pause on me now, stream.
2001 and Orc Odyssey.
It's Illidan.
Oh my god! I'm actually having goosebumps right now.
So
I can't
Gul'dan
even.
found Illidan.
Gul'dan found Illidan.
Alright, let's talk about what we just saw. This is part of the CGI, if I understood correctly.
Alright guys, I'm going to take a moment to try and turn this up a little for you.
It's just meant to be connecting tissue between the expansions. You know, clearly Khadgar was right not to trust what just happened with Gul'dan, that we wouldn't see the last of him. So Gul'dan, in much the same way that Garrosh Hellscream set in motion the events of Warlords of Draenor, Gul'dan is setting up the events of the next expansion.
Oh my god. Guys, are you excited for this expansion or what?
Don't get skeptical on us, Rho.
I'm trying not to, John.
Before we're gonna reveal, because
trying.
that isn't even the big reveal yet. There's more to come. You guys have more to share as you have a team of development guys here on stage in just a bit to talk about it and give some more in-depth views on it and see how much you can share. But you brought us another video, right?
Yeah, we did. So next up, we're going to see the actual announcement trailer with the features and content.
Here we go.
So let's roll.
Buckle up.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this announcement trailer right now.
Tech guys, start video.
YouTube, don't fail me now.
On Draenor, old rivals sought to bring Azeroth to its knees.
Every time, man. Every time.
YouTube.
That has not forgotten
Gosh dang.
our defiance. The vengeance of the burning shadow has come. And in our most desperate hour, we must wield the power of the enemy against them.
Oh, shit.
For we stand once more upon the brink of destruction.
It's gonna be medieval. Nah. It's still kind of medieval.
Burning Legion has returned.
All right. World of Warcraft Legion.
It wasn't.
That's
I have a
the
shot.
next chapter
No,
in the
it was
saga
not.
of the World of Warcraft. So, what we have for you next is actually going to be a presentation by both myself and a couple of my other
Did he change into the Illidan
did.
thing? I was
colleagues
gonna say
that
that
go
was
into
kind
more
of a
depth.
giveaway.
Director.
Everybody's wearing Illidan colors
So
today.
Alex was one of our very first quest designers, and he was actually the very first lead quest designer ever to exist on the World of Warcraft team. He's driven a huge part of our story development for the last dozen years. So, Alex.
It's all on you,
Next
buddy.
up, we have
all
Ian
your fault.
Hazakostas, lead game designer. So as lead game designer, Ian's responsible for a lot of things. Most recently, you guys may be aware that he's been responsible for our boss encounters for both dungeons and raids for many, many years now, several expansions. In addition, he's been responsible for class design and other sorts of systems. So really a huge, huge factor in the last 7 or 8 years of World of Warcraft.
Just gonna take a selfie on
Ian.
stage. Selfie.
Nice job, Alex.
All right, so to get to the point, we're
Come
first
on,
going to be
Alex.
talking about
Do your social media later, man.
Dude, ain't nobody got time for that.
Now's not the time. Now we know why the selfie camera became a thing.
Story.
They can't.
Selfies
They
a little bit
can't
more
stop.
insight
Here,
into
John.
the events of
Damn it.
The stream is questionable.
coming relatively soon. So eat it up. Right there, clearly, a pretty significant character is involved. We'll also be talking about setting. As mentioned in the video, the Broken Isles is this new continent that players haven't experienced before, but has been referenced back in Warcraft 3. We'll be giving you more insight into the zones and the inhabitants of those zones and what happens.
Hey, look, Dalaran.
We'll also be talking about dungeons
Artifact
and raids.
weapons.
We've got to have dungeons and raids. We'll be talking about those artifact weapons you saw about. A little concept piece there from our team. Neat stuff. We'll be talking about demon hunters, of course. New class. And finally, the new PvP honor system. We'll be going into detail on exactly what that is and how it works. So I'm going to hand it off to Alex to talk about our story and setting.
Thanks, Tom. Well, well. Hello, Gamescom.
I want to tell you about story and setting, but first, let me take a selfie.
I am honored to be standing before you today to be talking about our new expansion.
No, you are not.
I do want to mention one thing. I am not Chris Metzen.
Uh-oh.
I'm a little taller. My nose is bigger. That's how they tell us apart at work. All right, let's get to it.
Good. Glad we've cleared that up.
Yeah.
Now we
So
know.
Legion takes place on the Broken Isles.
There's Dalaran.
This is a land at the heart of Azeroth that is long forgotten. 10,000 years
Going
ago,
back to Dalaran.
before the Great Sundering, this whole area was a vast, bustling night elf civilization. And what we have now, after the world was destroyed, is the bones of that civilization. So this continent, in its entirety, is a graveyard of sorts. And it's on this continent
Now you get to explore a
that we will
graveyard.
discover the tomb of Sargeras. That's right. Some old school War 3 players.
Yep, I remember that tomb. I had to do a lot of blinking
tomb-
in that tomb.
Is an active gateway to endless Legion worlds thanks to Gul'dan. A demonic invasion bigger than
Big
the War
words,
of the
Alex.
Ancients is currently underway. Let me repeat this.
We're gonna
This
raid
is the
them.
biggest demonic invasion of Azeroth ever.
It's a lot of demons.
And what are we gonna do about it?
You make a
We're
demon
gonna,
hunter.
Sit around.
we're gonna do deeps.
We're gonna fight.
Gonna level to 110, I guess.
Because that's what we do.
There's a bunch of fighters right there.
And to do that, we're going to track down the source of this invasion at the Broken Shore and take the fight directly to Gul'dan and his demonic armies. And after a glorious battle at the Tomb of Sargeras, our story will begin. So this whole
Oh,
thing
jeez.
will actually start before the expansion even officially launches.
Stream.
The Broken Shore experience, someone's happy, The
Yes?
Broken Shore experience, things that's going to happen after this experience is every single person in
Stream.
this
And
room
yes, I
that
saw
has
people
played
saying switch over to the
WoW
Twitch one.
in the
It's
last 5 to 10 years
gonna interrupt more than
is
this
gonna
will
be
if I do
really,
that.
really
So
surprised and shocked. 100% sure on that one.
we'll live with this.
That right? I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate from Twitter on that. Okay, so let's get into it.
The moon blows up.
Once the dust settles, after the Broken Shore, we will wake up to a world on fire and probably a massive headache. But we're not going to let a headache stop us from saving our world.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
steal people's weapons.
We will wield
You get an Ashbringer, and
We'll
you get an
hoist up
Ashbringer. Everyone
the
gets an
fabled
Ashbringer.
artifacts of those we have lost
What?
and
What?
those that have lost hope. And we will attempt
Confirm.
to
Thrall
restore
dies.
peace to a world on the brink of annihilation. And to help do that, we'll form class orders, powerful class orders, or renew old ones, like the Silver Hand. This is a combination of extremely super exciting features for us. Ian's going to go into a lot more detail on that shortly, but it's amazing, guys.
That's why Metzen isn't there. They killed Thrall. Turns out you can't kill
How are we
Thrall
feeling about
without
those demon
losing
hunters,
Metzen.
guys?
Maybe.
Look at that. She gets some horns.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I was getting water. How about those demon hunters? Good?
You're not excited about Demon Hunter, Ro?
My main's a warlock.
So they intimidate you. Man, this is a big freeze. Maybe it is worth.
We're going to
switching
need
over.
all the help we can get to fight the Burning Legion.
Let me think about that for a couple minutes here.
But
Face
first,
demon hunters at all, they all wanted to kill us, mostly. And after this, they may still want to kill us a little bit. So, we will see through Illidan's eyes the story of the demon hunters, the Illidari. We'll go back to the moment during the siege of the Black Temple where we see Illidan send his demon hunter Illidari back on a special mission. So,
Yeah?
anyone play Burning Crusade in here?
I am familiar with that expansion.
So
That
you guys
lady is
remember
eating
back
her
in
land.
Burning Crusade when we were running up the Black Temple in the halls, and we were all excited to go take out Illidan, and we're praying for Warglaives to drop. Well, Illidan had other things going on in the background, like sending his best, most elite demon
Suicide
hunters
Squad.
on a suicide mission.
Oh, we need Will Smith
So
to
we'll
come
go
in and say
through
some sort of
their
suicide
past
squad.
into the shattered demonic prison world of Mardum. This is the world that Sargeras created when he was a good Titan to hold all of the demons that he captured in the entirety of the universes. And when Sargeras went bad, this is the world he shattered and released what would become the Burning Legion.
I gotta admit, that looks
We'll
pretty
go
cool.
there.
It's
Yeah.
very green, but it looks very cool.
And we'll come into the present, where we will go through the secret halls of the Vault of the Wardens. And when all is said and done, we will learn what it means to be a demon hunter and understand the true meaning of sacrifice. And we'll turn into awesome metamorphosized demon hunters.
Why does
Tom's
one
gonna
have
talk on
feet
that
and the
later.
other have hooves?
I don't know.
But guys, this is Warcraft.
Because I have an opinion on which
And
of those
I
I
did say
want.
that this was the biggest Legion invasion we have ever faced. So I don't know if artifacts and demon hunters are going to be enough. We're going to have to turn to the big guy in the sky, or big
Whoa.
guys and gals in the sky. And I'm talking about the Titans.
That's kind of a big deal.
Yes. No, well.
Don't cheer for him yet.
We're going to scour the Broken Isles for the Pillars of Creation. These are Titan relics that were used to shape the world when it was young, when it was first born. And it's only with these relics that we can actually close this massive gateway, this wound at the heart of the Tomb of Sargeras. Now, speaking of help,
It's a Beatles song.
And the mages of the Huron Tor, now led by Khadgar, will also be joining us. And that means Dalaran is going to be coming to the Broken Isles and becoming a main hub for players for this expansion.
Jaina's tenure didn't last very long, did it?
Let's hear some love for Dalaran. You all love it.
She got ousted right quick. My God.
Now, I can't say where Jaina went, but she was pissed off when she left.
Oh.
Now,
Demon Hunter Jaina.
Let's
confirmed.
talk about some zones in no particular order. Our quest to defeat the Burning Legion goes to Val'Sharah. Once the pinnacle of Druidism on Azeroth, now a forgotten Druid refuge on the Broken Isles. This is the place, guys, that Malfurion became the first Druid under Cenarius. So this whole area
does this feel so retcon to me? I've never heard of this
especially
place.
if you're a fan of Night Elven Druidic lore. It's all here.
Because you haven't studied Druidic lore, bro.
Here we'll face Xavius, the Nightmare Lord.
Xavius, the Nightmare Lord.
Massive Satyr
Emerald
armies.
Nightmare.
And what are they trying to do? What
Bad
does Xavius
stuff.
always try to do?
Oh.
He's trying to unleash
Confirmed
the
Emerald
Emerald
Nightmare
Nightmare
raid.
into our world.
Oh, there we go.
So
Emerald
along the
Nightmare.
way, we'll meet up with demigods.
Think about that for a moment. Demigods. Seriously. Demigods.
Like Cenarius. And you should be pretty stoked. Nian's going to show you some awesome stuff there later, too.
It always is in twos, the buffering. It's like you get the pause, then you get a couple seconds, and then you get the unpause.
But if we can't fight back Xavius and stop the Nightmare from coming into our world, it's pointless. Pillar or no pillar, we can't beat the Legion. So what are we going to do? We're going into the Emerald Nightmare, and we're going to dispense
Emerald Nightmare raid
justice.
confirmed.
Yeah, but it's
And
the way
while
you
we're
said it.
there,
It's a little
We're
zone.
going to
It's
get
part
a
of it.
couple
content
big glimpses
patch.
into the Emerald Dream.
Oh, he said Emerald Dream. Everybody lose your shit. This buffer is intentional to let you lose your shit.
We've been talking about it for a while, and it's time.
Oh.
All right. Thousands of years ago, in
Whoa.
search of their Holy Land, we'll discover the Halls of Valor and Helheim, home to two Titan keepers that have been warring for thousands of years. We'll also learn of the origins of the Valkyr and the Kavaldir as we ride the massive ship of souls, the Naglfar, into the maw of hell.
The what? The Naglfar? It's a great name for a ship.
While this is going on,
The
we'll be
Vrykul
fighting
God
the Vrykul's God King and his minions, who are now pawns of the Burning Legion.
Wonder if Sylvanas
Sormar's
will
a
be involved
beautiful
in
area,
that.
by the way.
So they've got,
scary.
so it's kind of like a bunch of mini expansions.
Azsuna.
You got Small Emerald
Oh,
Dream.
beautiful Azsuna. So
There's
you
a
know when I
little
first
Lich
talked
King
about
stuff.
What this
Yeah,
expansion was
some
built
Burning
upon,
Legion
the
throughout.
the bones of that ancient Night Elf civilization. Nowhere is it better represented than in Azsuna. The first moment you step on the territory, on the zone here, you will instantly see that this place was once something
This
very
feels like
special.
a presentation for a timeshare,
And
John.
it's still special in a different way.
Come to lovely Azsuna.
Here we'll discover the ghosts of ancient night elves of the area, a dying breed of the blue dragon flight, and we'll be introduced to the Nightfallen, exiled royalty from Suramar that have been left to die outside the protected walls of their city. We'll also be racing someone named
Go-karts.
Queen Azshara and her minions
There's Queen
for
Azshara.
control
Yeah.
of the Pillar of Creation in the zone. Overall, pretty epic experience.
So this is like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we decided
on.
to make an expansion of all
I'm out.
expansions.
What's
I'm
going
out.
to be left?
We call this
The highest
Gilneas
point.
2.0.
Of the Broken Isles, we find Highmountain, home to the Highmountain Torrent,
Oh.
The keepers of the relic of Kasgaroth. Also, the keepers of really badass horns, if you paid attention to that cinematic before us. If you didn't, you got to check it out. Huge elk horns.
Oh, they got elk horns. That's cool.
Highmountain's rough
You're
terrain.
going to need flying in Highmountain.
Rough, tough, it'll kill you.
But you won't get
Which
it.
is why only the biggest and strongest creatures of the Broken
We're going to
Isles
have a
live up
lot
here.
of archaeology puzzles here.
Like the Drogbar.
The Drogbar.
And we're going to have to kill a lot of Drogbar to save this world. And while we're there, we're going to visit the lair of the Earth Warder, Neltharion,
What?
and seek some answers, and hopefully get some answers. For those of you that don't know, Neltharion, during the War of the Ancients, became Deathwing. You know, that guy knows. Became Deathwing. And then during Cataclysm, he just became dead. And so we don't have him to worry about anymore, but we have other things.
So it's
Hear
home.
Journey in
While
the
we're up
background.
here, we may also run into some other friends. This is a big area. There's big
Of
game,
course,
there's a big
Nessingware
hunt.
is going to be.
Nessingware is going to be close.
Oh, there he is.
A lot of Nessingware love. And lastly for today,
Why are
guys,
you
I'm
clapping for
gonna hit on Suramar.
Nessingware?
At the heart of Suramar, we will discover a new race of elves,
The high.
made off of an old race of elves.
They're bitter elves.
These
They're
elves
old, shriveled, and angry.
have lived here for the last 10,000 years and flourished from the use or abuse of their
Super
incredible magical ability. Unfortunately, they have become pawns of the Burning Legion as well. More bad news, they have the last relic that we need. So what that means is we'll have to kill every single one of them, plus all of the elite Legion guards that guard their city, and probably Gul'dan to secure that last relic.
I like how...
Guys,
I didn't
like,
say it was going to be easy.
Oh, yeah, we do have to kill them all.
One
I
last
believe
thing
you.
before I hand it off to Ian. I want to head off one question.
He's being very casual
I
about
know there will
genocide.
be thousands of them after this presentation is over, but one question. This is a question that we have been asked at every single BlizzCon since the inception of BlizzCon. And I'm happy to announce it here at Gamescom. What about Alleria and Turalyon?
Oh, one guy with his axe was ready. Yeah!
Your time is here. Thank you. Ian?
Alleria and Turalyon, hype!
He didn't necessarily answer the question.
All right, hello Gamescom.
But their time is here.
Their time is now.
Thank you, Alex, for that great introduction to the Broken Isles and the World of Legion. And I want to talk a bit about artifacts and class orders that you saw in the intro video, and then we'll move on to talk about dungeons and raids. So, artifacts. Weapons, obviously, but what are they? What's the deal with them? So, as Alex mentioned, the Legion represents the greatest single threat to our world that we have ever faced. And in order to fight this ultimate enemy, we need the ultimate weapons. We need weapons of greater power than any we've ever had before in order to stand a chance. And that's where artifacts come into play.
So we asked
Every single
Thrall for his
specialization
hammer.
in the game is going to have their own artifact to seek out and to wield and to use against the Legion. So depending on your class and your spec, that will heavily affect the way your story plays out and what you're interacting with in terms of the system.
So kind of like a
what are they?
class-specific
How do they fit in?
legendary quest, almost.
The first thing you're going to do
every
when you
spec.
begin the Legion
That's awesome.
experience after the events of the Broken Shore is seek out the artifact for your spec. Follow
want
your
class
destiny and
quests?
heed
You
that
got it.
calling to take up this ultimate weapon. And that experience is going to vary depending on what class and what spec you play. So for example, if you're a Retribution Paladin, you'll be returning to the location of the Broken Shore to find and seek out Ashbringer, where it fell in battle and was lost, so that you can take it up and wield it. If you're a Protection Warrior, you will follow up on the legends of an ancient Vrykul king who was buried with a sword and shield for...
Yep. I also like that it's addressing the shards of
from the scales of the dragon Neltharion,
Frostmourne.
who later went on to become Deathwing. You is go to... Ice Crown Citadel,
That's what happens
find and seek out the
across the
shards of the weapon where they lay after the fateful encounter with the Lich King at the end of Wrath of the Lich King. You will take those shards up and you will
because naturally nobody picked it
pair
up.
of rune blades.
John,
that are
this
the
is
ultimate
kind of
frost death
exciting.
weapons.
This might make me play other classes.
I know, it kind of makes me want to play other classes too. Although I kind of want to play Demon Hunter now. They haven't even talked about it. I kind of want to play it.
Deeds in the world, you will also earn artifact power for your weapon. Artifact power is something you will earn through a wide variety of activities, whether completing a major quest line, killing a dungeon boss, outdoor objectives, winning a PvP battleground. Virtually any major type of activity in World of Warcraft will contribute to leveling up your artifact.
Kind of.
Now, this artifact power that you earn,
It's almost like an
What do you do with
alternate
it?
leveling method, except they also
spend
added
it
a
to
new
unlock
leveling
traits
method. Or
that
the old
empower your
leveling
weapon
method.
and empower your own character. In
What
addition,
happens when you
can
cap
also have a
on
number of
artifact
visual
power?
customizations that you'll be able to unlock and explore. Ultimately, you control the destiny of your artifact. You customize the path in which you unlock those traits, and you choose your path to greatness. Now let's get into the system a little bit more. So, Ashbringer. This is a quick screenshot of the UI for Ashbringer. Now, each
It's a sphere
artifact
grid.
has a trait tree like this. It's kind of a grid that is overlaid on the outline of the weapon
Totally
itself.
reminds me of the Final
And
Fantasy
as you
X
earn
sphere
artifact
grid.
power,
does. It
you can
does look
spend
a
them
lot
to
like
unlock these traits. Once you unlock a trait, the adjacent nodes unlock and become things that you can spend a power in, and ultimately you choose what
It's
you
like
want to
Final
work towards.
Fantasy
You
X.
choose how
Go
you want
play.
to navigate this
Yeah.
tree and what you want your weapon to be. And at the far ends of the trees
It's
are
a
major
Final
impactful
Fantasy
abilities,
sphere.
such as the one we see on the screen here. This is something that will essentially cause your Ashbringer to duplicate some of your most powerful abilities. Let's look at the Frost Death Knights. Again, different weapons, different silhouette to the weapons, and therefore a different outline to the grid, but ultimately the same general concept. You begin at a central location and work your way towards the things that you most want. As you earn power, spend that power on traits, and unlock powers. Some of these are going to be simple damage increases, others are things that transform your rotation, others are new major types of utility, like the one we see here, that allows a Death Knight to basically use Ray's ally on themselves to resurrect themselves in the heat of battle. Now, visual customization. So this was something that may have flashed by really quickly in the trailer earlier. As we see in the menu here, this Ashbringer, but then also a number of different variants on Ashbringer. We understand that in a world where many Red Paladins will wield Ashbringer, it's important to really be able to feel unique and like your expression is like your weapon is an expression of the character that you want to play, of the things that you value, and of your
here's a green
accomplishments in the world. So these different looks to the weapon are things that you will be able to unlock through a wide variety of means. Some of them simply by leveling up your weapon, others by completing specific activities, whether they be raiding or PvP oriented.
That's an interesting way to
more
encourage
completionist
people
things in the
to
world as a
go
whole.
into different
And
areas.
within each of these
and do
looks,
stuff.
there's also a large number of color variants. So there's a tremendous total number of combinations for how you can have your artifact look. Now, with Ashbringer, what we generally did, and what we've done with all of the artifacts, is you get the base weapon that looks like the sword you know and love that you've always seen in Tyrion Forgering's hand. It's the Ashbringer.
And it goes Super
Then
Saiyan.
there's sort of an evolved, upgraded version of it that once you reach a certain level of power with your weapon, you'll be able to unlock.
We call it a
But then
master
we
skin.
gave our artists the challenge of really just going off in exciting new different directions with these weapons, of trying to reimagine the fantasy of the sword, and that led us to things like an Ashbringer that's made out of pure fire, or a corrupted shadowy Ashbringer, or one that is shattered and being held together by crackling lightning.
Or
All of
duct
these
tape.
are the basic
One-person
silhouette
yawn.
of the weapon we know, but they have a very, very different feel ultimately, and there'll be things for you to work towards and use as an expression
the
of the
Warlock
character
one.
you want to play. So I know I've talked a lot about Ashbringer. Let's look at some other weapons.
Class
So
quest,
if you're a
John.
Mistweaver monk, your adventure will begin by returning
I'm
to
so
Pandaria
excited
to
about
seek
this.
out the staff of the Emperor Shao Hao, who's really integral to the very legend and the essence of the
I
concept
like
of
the
Pandaria.
Shaw version.
So here on the far
For
left,
you really
we see the
jaded
base weapon that you'll
monks.
initially acquire,
Right.
then an upgraded version of it. But then we've reimagined that staff in the, with the inspiration drawn from the various animal gods of Pandaria, whether it's Yulon, the jade serpent in the center, or Chi-Ji, the red crane on the far right, or a Sha-influenced, Sha-corrupted staff, second from the right in between those two. Those are all things to work towards, and again, you can kind of pick the look that you want, pick the thing that excites you most to be what you show off.
I like that lightning one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Exactly. I can't say enough about the amazing art and the work that our artists have done on these weapons. They just blow us away. So yeah, the base Ashbringer, the holy version, and then
rogues
fiery,
tend to wield
shadowy,
daggers. They aren't
and
the
lightning.
easiest thing to show.
I know, and I
They
hate
all
wielding
have that
daggers
essence
too.
that says this is Ashbringer.
Cannot stand daggers.
Next up, a new one to many people. So Faloma Lorn. This was actually a spell sword wielded by Mage Kael'thas. Kael'thas used this in his battle against the Lich King at Ice Crown Citadel, and the sword was lost there. So if you play a Fire Mage, you will begin the expansion by seeking out that blade. And when you take it up, you see the base version on the left. It is, a very Blood Elf origin fire spell blade. An evolved version, but then the fantasy goes in different directions from there if you want to customize it in a fell
fire mage,
or sort of a
show me the one I care about.
Show me
or the heavy
warlocks.
Titan influenced one on the far right that has a very different feel to it. It's all up to you. The Eagle Spear. So this is something that is new to the lore. It's heavily associated with the Highmountain Tauren. This is basically a fabled weapon of the Tauren tribe in Highmountain that you will seek out. You will track down the powerful creature that claimed the life of its last wielder, defeat that creature, and take this for yourself. The animal inspirations for the spear, you see, the base version is sort of themed after the eagle. Then in the center we have a wolf theme, a serpent, and a bear on the.
I like seeing the German names over on the side.
All right. This weapon will be something that survival hunters can seek out and claim. So next up, Frost Death Knights.
But wait a minute, why do hunters want to get a spear?
So these are the blades that you will forge from the shattered shards of
the
greatest Death Knight weapon of all time.
But they don't use it.
Frostmourne.
They can wield it, but they don't
on the
use
left,
it.
and then the initial upgraded version second from the left. Now, for these weapons, we actually didn't go in such crazy different directions. We didn't do a fiery sword. I mean, they're all kind of. It's a question of what you like most as Death Knight. Do you like skulls, or frost, or more skulls, or different skulls? But they're all different.
How into skulls are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Of what being a Death Knight is, and when you think Runeblade, this is what comes to mind. That is what your artifact needs to mean to you. Doomhammer.
Doomhammer.
So this weapon will be.
We know you want to see it, but here's the crowd.
Enhancement Shamans will seek them out and pair this hammer with a pair in your offhand that is made of pure energy, so that you can dual wield properly.
The Warlock one, they're not going to.
The base version, of course, the one we know and love.
Confirmed. Thrall becomes a Warlock and a Paladin.
And then various, variants of it. The Fell version in the center, a fiery one to the right of that, and then a magical crystalline one on the far right.
Magical
all the
crystalline.
Essence of Doomhammer, but different fantasies to explore. Let's see, what's up next?
What's up?
So, Feral Druids. So, Feral Druids can seek out the fangs of the first Nightsaber. And on the far left here, we see a Druid with the base initial artifact that just claimed it.
This is a troll slide.
He's been playing the expansion for an hour or two. In the middle, we see a Druid with the upgraded fangs of the first Nightsaber. He's been playing for much longer, has attained a more powerful artifact. On the far right side, we see a Druid with spectral fangs of the Nightsaber, and it's a totally different look of the weapon. I mean, you can see how awesome the weapon is, right? Oh, right, yeah. I guess you can't really see the weapons on Feral Druids. That's a shame. I mean, being able to customize your weapons so much.
You catty Blizzard devs.
Instead of customizing the look of your artifact, you will customize the look of your form.
That's pretty awesome.
On the left, here we see a Druid with the base fangs for the first Nightsaber. On the right, that spectral variant. Now, of course, there's many different color variations on each of these, and more entirely different models that we just couldn't fit on this slide, but there'll be the same number of variants as every other class has. So that's something for, Feral Druids and Guardian Druids to look forward to. Oh, and by the way, yeah, on the last slide, that was an updated high-res version of the base cat form, in case you were wondering.
Cool. No Warlock weapon, QQ.
Okay, so that's some of what artifacts have in store for you. We're going to have a lot more to discuss, in the future, but that should kind of give you the gist of what they're all about.
Guys,
Alliance and Horde.
Alliance and Horde, mad at each other
So,
again.
as Alex mentioned, in the aftermath of the events at the Broken Shore, our world is in flames, and we are struggling to survive in the face of the Legion threat that will just overwhelm and destroy us all if we don't stop it. And the Alliance and Horde, they're just not going to be able to come together and work together in the ways that need to happen to overcome this threat. But instead, it's the classes that actually band together to do that.
I like
Whether
that.
it's ancient orders like the Silver Hands at Light's Hope Chapel, or the Mages of Dalaran, they're coming together, working together as a class to save the world and to do what needs to be done. And of course, they look to you as their leader.
Yeah,
because
naturally.
you are the one who has just retrieved
I'm kind of
fabled
mad on the
artifact
you
of
are the
incomparable
leader
power.
thing, but
You are the wielder of Ashbringer.
I mean,
Yeah.
as long as I
Over
get to
impact.
still go out and
Who
do
else would lead
stuff
them if
and
not
don't
you?
have to just issue orders.
And so this really underscores one of the central themes of the Legion expansion,
Notice we've heard
which is
nothing
really a
about
heavy
garrisons
focus
or
on class
followers or
identity.
anything.
Yeah,
we
none
want
of
you
that.
to feel, if
Nothing.
you're a warlock, to feel like a warlock, and for that to feel different than being a paladin.
Bro, they want
Because
you to feel
they're
like a
about very
warlock.
different things, even if their goals are the same at the end of the day, which is to defeat the
Feel
Legion.
like a warlock,
they're gonna
bro.
go about it in very different ways. They're going to have very different allies. They're
I'm
going
a
to have very
demon.
different powers to call upon in
I'm
the process.
grumpy. Arr.
So the order halls represent a base of operations for your class. They're kind of like a private clubhouse that you share with other members of your class. It's a shared
We
space.
didn't wanna
You
say-
see other
They want
paladins
Legion
running around,
Portal
other
World.
shamans. It's not personal like the garrison, but it is a private space just for
can
members
dig
of
it.
your class. The best analog is probably something like Acarus, the Death Knights are familiar with. The necropolis floating above the Plaguelands that is only accessible to Death Knights. So, and these will be in locations that are thematically appropriate. And one of the sort of the second thing you do after claiming your artifact is going to be to found and come upon your order hall and establish it. So shamans will be in a hollowed out cave overlooking the Maelstrom at a point where all of the elements come together, where lightning crackles in the sky.
Basically, we wanted it to be a place that looks cool.
Overhead, and molten earth churns in the middle of a swirl. Demons all over the place. So the Warlock
Of course.
Order Hall is actually going to be on a Legion portal world, where only they can travel
I can dig it.
because that's what they do. That's what Warlocks are. That's part
That's
of being
right.
a Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a screenshot of the Paladin class Order Hall beneath Light's Hope. This was, something that was shown briefly in the video, and every class is going to have their own unique space that they will return to with unique functions. This will be the place where you go to customize and upgrade your artifacts. This will be the place where you have certain special quests and other missions available to you, and it's, tied to your class identity first and foremost.
It's like a garrison, but we're not going to use that word.
In your order hall, you're going to have champions of your class, of your order. Now, this is an evolution of the Draenor follower system.
Oh, here we go.
Whereas in Draenor, you were raising an army, right? You needed to defeat the Iron Horde, so you went out into the world and you were recruiting anyone that you could get your hands on. Regardless of what race they were, regardless of what class they were, anyone who wanted to help you fight the Iron Horde, you wanted their help.
But now,
But numbers are
you
not going
hate
to
people.
work against the Burning Legion. We can't defeat them through numbers alone. They are infinite. If we don't seal the portal at the Tomb of Sargeras, nothing will stop them. So your champions, if you're a paladin, or maybe
Because Leroy
minions
Jenkins
if you're a
is not
warlock,
going to
or
cut it this
apprentices or adepts if you're a mage, these are far fewer in number, but far more important. Many of them may be established characters like Lady Liadrin, the Blood Elf Paladin, and they're going to have more customization, but more importantly, more integration with the world. Our idea, in terms of how we want to carry this system forward, is not to have your followers or your champions doing things instead of you, but to have them
They're
enabling
pressing good
you to
buttons,
do
John.
They are.
grand deeds
They're
and to go
hitting-
out into the world. So maybe they go
Look
on
at
a
that.
scouting mission and discover a lair that you then go to investigate. Or maybe you send them to a zone that then gives you bonuses when you are adventuring in that zone and completing objectives there. You'll work alongside them and with them rather than sort of having them compete
Damn right.
with you in terms of the rewards that you're getting and that you're seeking out. We'll have a lot more to talk about regarding the system in the future, but I just wanted to kind of lay out some of our general philosophies for how we're thinking about it and how it's different from the garrison.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't want...
I'm cool with it. It's the one thing that may make me play other classes.
I like the German for dungeons and raids.
We feel like we've done dungeons a bit of a disservice. Dungeons are essential. They are at the heart.
They don't seem essential right now, Ian.
I don't know about that, Ian.
Experience awesome. Going into a dungeon is going in and cooperating with a small group of your friends to overcome a challenge. And we want to make sure that there are more dungeons in Legion than before, that there's more varied challenges, more replayability, and more of a long-term reason to keep doing dungeons throughout the expansion. We don't want dungeons to be something that you just do for a month at the start and then forget once you've started to do raids. That said, let's talk specifics. So first up, the Halls of Valor. As Alex mentioned, this is one of the level-up dungeons that is high up in the clouds over Stormheim. And this is sort of a look at the dungeon itself. This is sort of the
John,
grand
I don't
entrance.
see
this
the
is what you see when you first zone in.
Where's Thor?
Bifrost, yeah.
Thorin.
The Halls of Valor, very heavily inspired by Valhalla, right? The core Norse Viking fantasy. This is the place where the greatest warriors of the Vrykul are called to serve in the skies. And this is their eternal reward for being the greatest. Now, what brings you here is actually, over the course of Stormheim, as you are seeking out the Pillar of Creation from this zone that will help you seal up the Tomb of Sargeras, you are contending with the Legion cooperating leader.
I like how he's
Vrykul,
just called the God King.
The God
and
King.
As you contend with him and race against him through the zone, both of your paths lead you to this place, which is the ultimate resting location of the Pillar, and you must prove yourself worthy in battle so that you may claim it and not him. Otherwise, we're all doomed. Also in this place, we're going to learn a lot more and witness more about the origin of the Valkyr. Now, these are not the undead, scourge-influenced Valkyr that you remember in Northrend. This is the more pure Valkyr, the Shield Maiden, the Warrior of the Light, that is as core a part of the fantasy as the Vrykul themselves.
I keep wanting him to just spring it on us and be like, and by the way, Vrykul, playable race, because look how cool we're making it.
Max level dungeon in the zone of Val-Shara. This was the ancestral home of Lord Ravencrest. And this is an elven structure unlike any elven structure you've ever seen before. It was a military fortress, a bulwark against the Legion, that was carved out of a single giant piece of stone, basically carved out of the mountain itself, to be this impenetrable, unassailable fortress. But a dark shadow has fallen across this place now. So here we see a screenshot of this is sort of the interior main entry hall of Blackrock Hold. I think next up, this is a side hallway. You can see some light streaming in from the windows.
They need dust.
Players are going to begin essentially in the basement, in the underground catacombs beneath Blackrock Hold, and work their way from the outside all the way to the very top of the spire, where they will confront the true threat and the evil that is corrupting the castle itself. This is a look from the outside courtyard, looking up at the walls and towers of the complex. This is an elven structure, but again, it's
this
not
will all
quite
be
like any
filled
elven
with
structure you may have
trash,
seen
so
before.
enjoy the empty look
Next,
right
the
now.
Vault of the Wardens. So this is a place that will be very familiar to demon hunters. As a demon hunter, and Tom will tell you a bit about this in the in the next bit, this is where you awaken. This was the Warden maximum security facility.
The hunt.
Wardens being those awesome cloaked figures like Maya that you may remember from Burning Crusade. This is where they have kept all of the greatest threats to the world. Demon hunters among them, but also countless other terrifying monsters.
Like Millhouse
Manastorm.
Manastorm.
Where the events of that cinematic that you saw before the before the expansion announcement trailer happened, where Gul'dan found Illidan, where he was encased beneath the vault. Now, what was he up to? What is his plan? What is his purpose?
It's probably not a
We don't know.
I thought he was
It's
dead.
a sure bet that it's nothing good. It's nothing that we want to have happen. And so we're going to begin investigating that mystery. We're going to begin hunting down Gul'dan and Illidan in this place. So here we see, this is one of the top levels of the Vault of the Wardens.
It's an owl.
We see some of the owl symbolism and that crescent half-moon shape that is their characteristic glaive that they wield. We see that prominently throughout this place. very ornate,
Is that
but also
Mr.
a
L?
place of great darkness and great evil.
Mr. L, how
This
many
is a lower level of the
expansions
dungeon.
does
You
it
see
take to get to the center of a
cells
Tootsie
lining the
Pop?
walls where all manner of former inhabitants have been kept. So then, of course, we're going to have more dungeons. So let me talk quickly about some of those. So first off, we're going to have a dungeon in Azsuna.
Called it.
Where you can
Called it.
with the minions of Queen Ashara, the
Alright,
Naga,
Ashara
that have been
confirmed.
thwarting your actions every step of the way through the zone. We figured Eye of Ashara would be a good name for it for some reason. I'm not sure. Next up, Darkheart Thicket. This is in Val'Shara. This is at the foot, the base of the World Tree Saladrisil that towers over the zone as a whole. This is the heart of the nightmare corruption that is infesting and spreading through the zone and which will eventually overtake our world if we don't stop it. So you are cutting your way through dark thickets and brambles into a chamber at the base of the tree itself, where you need to rescue Malfurion himself from the corruption and the clutches of the nightmare. Another dungeon is going to be Neltharion's Lair. Neltharion's Lair, as Alex mentioned,
Go
is
in
in
and
Highmountain.
fight Deathwing.
This was a cavern where thousands of
Will
years
be a
ago,
two-phase
the
fight.
Earth Warder, the Black Dragon Neltharion, lived. This was before he became Deathwing, before his corruption, but he was still the
Baratheon's
most
gonna
massive,
go
the
here
most
to see
giant
where
of
his
all the
dad
dragons. And the space that he's hollowed out reflects that. Since those times, this has become the center of the Drogbar society. These are the sort of rocky, fierce, brutal warriors of Highmountain. And we need to venture into their capital in order to recover the Pillar of Creation wielded by their chieftain.
Well, who
Helheim.
gave him that?
Helheim, well, it's sort of in Stormheim, but it's not precisely in Stormheim. This is kind of the polar opposite of the Halls of Valor. Whereas the
And go to hell.
greatest warriors of the Vrykul.
Go to hell.
Now, if you like the Grimbrail Depot dungeon in Warlords, if you like the idea of riding
I do like the idea of riding a train. Fantastic. I would like to think
train,
more on this.
well, I think you're going to like this one. This is the Ghost Ship of the Damned, and most of the dungeon takes place on this ship, sailing through stormy seas in an immersive environment that's quite unlike anything we've ever seen in a
had
dungeon
me
in WoW
at
before.
Ghost Ship.
Really excited to get people have their eyes on it. Next, Suramar City. This is the City of Night, where the Nightborn rule from their palace, but the city itself contains both catacombs beneath it and noble houses throughout the city, into which we will have to venture in order to uncover the ties to the Legion and the ultimate plan that is unfolding here.
Plan is invasion.
And, well,
I've
Violet
figured it
Hold.
out.
So Dalaran, of course, is coming with us to the Broken Isles, and that means Violet Hold is coming with it. Now, it turns out
there's
there
going to
were
be
some
another
mysteries and deep secrets
prison
hidden
break
within this place that we never uncovered the first time we were here. And bringing the city in proximity to the Tomb of Sargeras.
I really like
once
this
it comes to
idea,
the Broken
actually.
Isles, it awakens new secrets, new powers, new mysteries in this prison that we have to delve into, explore, and uncover. And we're
What?
going to learn a lot more about the origins of Dalaran,
Violet Hole
the
has the
origins
answer to them.
of the mages of Dalaran, and actually the origins of the world
There
itself.
it is.
Raids.
Raids.
So, for
There it
raids, we're
is.
actually pretty happy with how the overall structure in Warlords of Draenor played out. We had, a high mall initially with 7 bosses that opened up a few weeks after the release of the expansion, and then sometime after that, Blackrock Foundry with 10 bosses. So we're keeping that overall structure. We think that's a good amount of raid content, and that's kind of what we're aiming for, and that's what we want to deliver in Legion. So the first raid, this is going to be the Emerald Nightmare itself. We have heard
Go
from
fight
players as
the
long as we
Emerald
can remember,
Nightmare.
since really the first days of World of Warcraft, that they wanted to see the Emerald Dream. You fought those green dragons that came out of the portals, the 4 green dragons in early WoW, and you just wanted to go through those portals to see what was on the other side, right? Well, now you get to. The Emerald Dream was created by the Titans as a blueprint for Azeroth itself. It was the perfect, untarnished, unspoiled version of our world, verdant and green and full of life.
So we messed it all up.
But something has gone horribly wrong. We're initially actually going to climb up into the tree itself and
Right.
actually cross through the barrier that separates our reality from the reality of the dream. We will go in, root out corruption, seek out scenarios, and ultimately confront Xavius himself at the heart of the nightmare in this ultimate conflict.
We call
will
him
end the
Professor
Emerald
Xavius.
Professor Xavius.
Our next raid, Suramar Palace. So this is the palace in the city of Suramar,
The night
where the Grand Magistrate,
the
who's
anti-Sunwell
brokered this dark deal with the Legion, looks over everything and runs the city. The Legion has come here for a dark purpose, and they have used and corrupted one of the Titan pillars of creation to shape their society, to create this Nightwell, a conduit of dark energy that is the center of Suramar's power. So this is a 10-boss raid, very traditional, somewhat reminiscent of Black Temple.
Really
in terms of
shitty
layout,
Sunwell.
structure. You begin in an underground catacomb, essentially a back entry.
We
because
call
you
it
can't go through the front
Sunwell
gate.
Zero.
Work your way up to sort of outdoor balconies,
It has a lot of the
royal
same
quarters,
taste of
and eventually to the
Sunwell,
heart
but
of
no
the Nightwell
cows.
itself.
Your head
We will
is
confront
fantastic.
both the Grand
Keep being
Magistrates
you.
and Gul'dan, who has come here as an ambassador of the Legion. We've been chasing Gul'dan for a long time, since really the beginning of Warlords of Draenor, when we made that fateful mistake
Yeah, I
of clicking
didn't
on
want
him
to
and
set
setting him
Gul'dan
free
free at
to
the
begin
beginning
our
of
Warlords
Warlords,
experience.
asshole. Sorry.
But finally, he's
Still
cornered.
bitter
He's
about
not going to be
that.
able to run after this. Gul'dan is the ultimate boss of Suramar Palace Raid.
All right.
Now, I just wanted to show you a concept of what the palace itself is going to look like.
It's pretty.
I know if you
like
really love
orcs,
orcs and
this is
spikes
gonna
and
disappoint
fire and fell, this might disappoint you. I know you might have been hoping for yet another raid since you heard Gul'dan. Okay, it's going to to be a green orc raid, right? No.
Yeah, I was
This
really
is
hoping
the
for that.
Royal Elven city,
Jeez,
the
I
palace
guess
of
I'm
Suramar.
real bummed.
They were elevated,
I'm
elegant,
heartbroken.
magical race, magical civilization, and their architecture reflects that. So this is going to be a very different type of look for a raid than we've seen in the recent past, and I can't wait to have you explore it. Can't wait until you can see it for yourselves. So without further ado, let's hear more about the thing you all want to hear about. Let me hand it off to Tom, and he'll tell you all about the Demon Hunter.
Dream.
Look at that. You can almost see my last name in the German version of that.
All right, the Demon
It's
Hunter.
almost like Jagger and Hunter.
Monenjäger.
Similar.
Yeah. Let's talk first about character creation. Obviously, character creation is a huge part of building your character and really getting into it, getting a sense for what the character is. So we have a slew of different options for you that are really unique to the Demon Hunter.
My
so that
stream
you can
locked
really
up.
feel
What about
like
you, John?
it's properly,
No, mine's still going.
expressing the
darn.
class. So here's a lineup of a variety of different options that we'll have for you. As you can see, one of the kind of
I'm going
features
to
that first jumps
flip
out and
over
grabs your eyes is the horns.
to a different.
The Demon Hunters have the ability to have horns, a number of different horn styles, horn types, horn sizes. We'll even have the option to have no horns at all if there's something mentally wrong with you. Of course, we have some other features too. We have the tattoos that you see. A lot of Demon Hunter class-specific armor really kind of exposes those muscles so you can show off your awesome tats. Different types
Don't
of
say
tattoos,
awesome
different shapes,
tats.
different colors, all sorts of good times there.
Awesome.
We have skin variations, some of them scaly and demonic, others normal. And then finally, we also have the different types of eyewear. So you can have the traditional Illidan-style eyewear, or you can have a veil, or some other different kinds of work.
Illidan-style eyewear. It's
So,
a piece of
you know,
cloth.
taking a look at all that,
just
really kind
in
of getting a
case
sense for what
anybody's
that is,
wondering.
let's look at what that looks
So what
like
classes
on the
can be a
actual
Demon
character creation
Hunter?
screen.
I'm sad because I look like Illidan. Whoa.
All right, so right at the end there, you got to get a little glimpse into what it looks like to be a metamorphosized
Arr.
Demon Hunter. So let's take a look at what that is, and let's explore more what the entire Demon Hunter experience is. And so the Demon Hunter, as you might have seen in the video, is a hero class.
Hulk out.
And to us, what that means is they have a very unique starting experience, a lot the same way that the Death Knight did in Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah, because
So,
so far your
Demon Hunter will
hero
both have
classes
that
haven't
unique
been
kind of
very
experience
heroic.
And also start at a very high level so that you can immediately flow into the Legion content and not have to go through older content to do that. So the Demon Hunter Awoken. Demon Hunter first comes into our storyline after having been awoken in the Vault of the Wardens. The Wardens, desperate because of the Legion invasions, have thrown the switch to awaken the Demon Hunters.
So Demon Hunters start at level
desperate
100.
for their help, because when you're going to fight the Legion,
My guess is probably a little before 100.
Kind of part of the name, like
Right.
Alex said. But before you do that,
Like
you'll actually
95
get to
or
take
something,
part in
and they
the
get up
events
to 100
that
through
take
the
place 10
opening
years
part.
back in time at the Black Temple, when
Oh.
you, as a member of the Illidari, are sent off by Illidan on a crucial mission to the world of Mardoom. And so you get to see that little world of Mardoom right here. Take a look at a video that shows that.
It's very green, but it looks cool.
Right. Where's the Zerg?
This is Jimmy. He just ducks out a shot. Whoops, wrong game.
Someone called a Hyperion.
So that's a little glimpse of what our world would look like, Azeroth, if we fail in our mission to stop the Legion. Don't want that. Otherwise, might as well all be warlocks.
Oh, boom! Sick
All right,
warlock
so
insult,
next up, we want
bro.
to talk a little bit about specs and skills. So the Demon Hunter obviously is going to have specs like other classes will. And those specs that we're going to be talking about are Havoc and Vengeance.
Okay, so
Havoc is the DPS spec.
we call it
Vengeance
hooves
being
and
tanking
feet,
spec.
is what I'm gonna call
So
it.
for the Demon Hunters, we're actually going to be doing 2 specs. The reason for that is, as we thought about, Demon Hunters and what they might be and what the fantasy of a Demon Hunter is, clearly DPS comes to mind. I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't include DPS. So that's kind of an automatic. We also thought it'd be really cool because metamorphosis is a big part of being a Demon Hunter, and we have these awesome metamorphosized forms that'd be great to be a tank. That could be a really fun experience that makes sense with being a Demon Hunter also. Demon Hunter healer, though?
Yeah, they heal you with burning love.
Yeah, not so much. A little bit weird for us, so
Well, at least
felt like
it means less development time.
Yeah. It always gets weird when you have 2 specs
that was
that
kind of out
serve
of
the
the
same
pedigree of the
purpose.
class.
So
instead, we wanted to concentrate
Kinda
on
okay
the
with
coolness
that.
and really
Yeah.
although I would like
focus
to have them
on one
approach
melee
this
spec,
with
one
all the
DPS,
classes.
and 1 tanking spec. So we feel like that's really the right thing for the Demon Hunter to make them both awesome.
Yeah, it evens out the number thanks to the 1 extra on the
So
group.
here's a couple of different abilities that are unique to Demon Hunters, of course. The first one we have here is Fell Rush, where you can rush
What a
forward,
rush.
dealing a bunch of damage to anybody in your path. Generates
jeez, look at
Fury,
Spectral
also
Sight.
Demonic Fury. That's your resource. As you use some abilities, they build up Demonic Fury, and other abilities cost
I wasn't
Demonic Fury.
expecting this to go longer than
Fell
an
Rush
hour.
also has an
I know,
interesting
I'm kinda
characteristic
surprised
of
by
having
that.
multiple charges.
And
So
the
you can
sad
charge
thing is I
multiple
have to
times
leave
in battle.
in like 25 minutes for work.
We have Chaos
All right,
Strike.
well, if you have to go,
Basic
Ro, you duck
Demonic
out,
Fury
man.
spender.
I
Yeah,
understand.
I'll let you
in front of
know.
you.
But
Chaos Nova that does area effect damage and also stuns people in a radius on a cooldown. You can also use a ranged ability called Eye Beam. Use those cool little eyewear that you have to focus those beams. Zap a bunch of enemies at range. Spectral Sight, that's something that's very unique to Demon Hunters and really kind of a defining trait of Demon Hunters. The ability there is when you turn on Spectral Sight, and that's kind of part of why you pulled your eyes out to be a Demon Hunter.
That's right.
Is
That's
that
why I
it
did
gives
it.
you the ability to see
Sight
through walls,
beyond
so you
sight.
can see your enemies
I wanted to be Daredevil. That's why I did it.
through the walls. Come in really handy in a lot of battlegrounds. In addition, Vengeful Retreat, another movement ability that helps keep Demon Hunters really mobile. But of course, if a Demon Hunter is going to retreat, he's going to do it vengefully.
Yeah.
So first, we've got
They
a couple little
spit
videos
at the
to show you
target
what
before they
some of these
back
abilities
out.
Look like. The first one you're going to see is Fell Rush, just very simple, kind of dash forward. So let's look at that.
And of course, that's where it freezes.
and
There you go. Used multiple times in succession, right away. Boom, boom. Wants to travel, wants to go through and deal damage.
Bro, this is making me rethink my
Next
monk
up, we
life
have the
choices.
ID ability. Give you a sense of what that looks like.
oh man, I don't know.
Zap.
I think.
And then finally,
okay, I will say
we have an
this.
ability that's
if
also
I
unique
was
to
to
Demon
play
Hunters
a
to talk about
melee
that I haven't
DPS
mentioned yet.
class,
that
or
ability is
a
something
war
that we
melee
call
tank, I'd
double
probably go the route of Demon
So,
Hunter.
as a
Because why not?
Why not?
Demon Hunter, you're actually going to be able to jump, and then as you're in the air, jump again. Because you're more agile, you're quicker than other
Double
races
jump.
or
I've been
classes.
wanting this for
And,
forever.
you know, it's really cool and
Oh,
handy
man.
to get over obstacles that no other class can actually get over. So
Oh
let's take a
man,
look
get
at what that looks
excited.
I might have to play a
Ooh.
Demon Hunter just for this. Look at that double jump.
Okay, that sold it for you, right?
Yeah, confirmed. Now
Double jump.
everybody's going to be a Demon Hunter because they want
So next
double
up, we have
jump.
a little video that has a couple of these different combat abilities mixed together to give you a little bit more of a sense of what Demon Hunter combat
No more
actually
healers in the
feels like.
game. It's all tanks and DPS because double jump. And then he double jumps, because why not?
Good times.
Because double jump.
All right, so hopefully you guys are excited to play Demon Hunters as we are. I know around the office we're all kind of
Really?
crazy in the head about it, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Next up, I want to talk about the new PvP honor system. Now, as we mentioned in this video, we're
Version
doing an entirely
3.
new PvP honor system.
God.
Calling version 3. And so, to set a little bit of context for that, I want to talk a little bit about
Let's talk
the
about
evolution
how
of the honor
PvP has
system over
faded.
time, and set the foundation for why it is that we're going to do what we're doing. So let's look back to version 1. So I had the great honor and opportunity to
version 1. I remember it so well.
to be able to do a lot of the design work
It's all
on the
your
original
fault,
honor
Tom.
system.
It's all your fault.
And
I
at the
liked
time
version
when we first
1.
launched it early in World of Warcraft's lifetime,
I think you're just looking through
it
my
was really
colored
intended
glasses,
to
John.
be
I don't
something
think
that
so.
gave
I PvP'd
players
during
that wanted
version
PvP
1. I haven't done
something
shit
to,
during
get
version
excited
2.
about and be able to progress in. But it had a couple of critical flaws that led to it being phased out in Burning Crusade. I don't know how many of you played back in the day, the original honor system. But and it was pretty cool for a while. And that's because anytime you killed enemy players, you did battlegrounds, captured objectives,
See,
that sort
it
of
was
thing,
pretty
you
cool
gained honor.
for a
And
while.
at the end of the week, we would tally up all the honor that each player got. And then we would rank them based on how much the honor they got compared to each other, which is fine and dandy in theory. The problem is, you guys are willing to spend an incredible amount
I'm just
of time
listening at the moment,
every
and I
single
just
day
read
farming
something on
honor,
Twitter.
making it impossible.
Oh, so Demon
for a lot of
Hunters
people
can
to
tank
keep
in
up.
Metamorphosis.
We had
see
players
how
that
it
weren't
is.
even playing their
the
own
entire
characters, having
Warlock
their guild
community.
mates log in their characters so they could be the #1 honor character that week. Literally 24 hours a day.
Your
7 days a week,
metamorphosis
that
is
character
fake
had to be in
and
battlegrounds,
wannabe. That's why.
Fighting
We
to-
find your
to retain their rank.
metamorphosis
And the
hacking.
moment they
That's
stopped,
right.
even after becoming a high warlord or grand marshal, they started losing their ranks. So that was a little bit too brutal. So in Burning Crusade, we moved to a system that was a lot simpler. It's also, carried us for a long time from Burning Crusade all the way to Warlords.
1, 2.
That system is essentially a currency system,
And
right?
now-
You kill enemy players, you get honor from battleground objectives, etc., and you get currency. You then
That system's okay too.
buy stuff with it, buy PvP gear.
It also
introduced the concept
exists
of
in a
PvP
time
gear.
where I stopped caring
And
about
this
PvP.
kind of gave us one little tuning point for PvP. It meant that we could do set bonuses that would alter your character a little bit, but ultimately it was still
Version 3. We've removed
essentially the same
PvP
character
from the
playing
game.
PvE. And that had a lot of limitations, and it's kind of it's gotten aged. We feel like it's really time to update it and address some of those core issues. For example, we've gotten a lot of feedback that gear has way too much to do with PvP. And so we really want to dial back the effect that gear has. For example, if you look at a character here on the left, you're going to see a character that has the introductory honor gear. And their base item level, in this case, is only 620. You have a character on the right that has the fully maxed out Conquest gear, and their item level at 700 makes them 80% more powerful, almost twice as powerful, even when you factor in both of them getting scaled up for PvP. Almost twice as powerful as the other player. And that doesn't really feel right in PvP. It's just not that fun to have players running around with that huge of a power disparity. So we felt like we needed a new system that addresses that and really kind of makes sure that while gear can play a role, it plays almost no role in terms of how powerful you are.
That's good, because I
So that brings us
think
to
one of the
Honor
biggest
System
flaws
version
with
3.
it is that PvP
Starts
is fun when
World of
people are on
Warcraft
an
Legion,
equal
goes on
playing
forever.
field.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll never
It is
do a
not
version 4.
fun
That would be ridiculous.
When someone who
So here's a look
just
at what
gets
that
in
is.
and
Essentially what that is a PvP talent.
mashes it can destroy
So
everybody.
as you gain honor, you'll actually progress through honor ranks from honor rank 1 to honor rank 50. And as you progress through those ranks, you earn a number of different perks and bonuses. And the most important ones being these PvP talents that you unlock. These PvP talents are designed completely for PvP. They give us the opportunity that our PvP team has actually been asking for me for a long time to be able to balance PvP more independently of PvE. Because these abilities will only work in places like battlegrounds and arenas. So as you progress through the honor talent tree, you'll unlock the abilities, starting actually top to bottom. So you can very quickly get up to the maximum power that your character can possibly have in terms of just sheer number of abilities and effects and passives, etc. And as you progress through that tree, you'll then go on and start unlocking the next row. And that gives you some more options to play with on your character. You might, prefer mind quickness, versus, the train of thought talent, for example. And then finally, you unlock it all at level 50. And so, really that brings us to this idea that we want to take a look at what some of these, PvP talents could be. Some examples here.
Those people are
obviously
kinda
only
like,
a few examples.
I really like
there's going to be a lot of balancing and tuning and
PvP.
tweaking of these PvP talents as we go through the beta process and all that. So some of these may change significantly. But
Blood
here's some
and
core
soil
ideas.
sounds like a
For example,
trip to Chipotle.
This first one, the Abolish Magic talent. We envision that as
Or
being
you
a
mean the
talent
trip
for
after.
the Discipline Priest.
That's
because
true.
We think that
Trip
the
back
Discipline
home.
Priest, in order to restore some of the distinction to all the different PvP specs in the game, all the different specs in the game in general, we feel like the thing that Discipline is the best at is dispelling abilities, dispelling magical effects. So here they have this ability on a 20-second cooldown that dispels all magic effects every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. It replaces your dispel magic ability. It's just better. Another option here, adaptation. This one is a kind of core anti-crowd control ability, where anytime you're struck by a crowd control effect, you become immune for a little while, and then it has an internal cooldown. We've seen similar sorts of things in other games like Heroes of the Storm, for example. We also have Blood and Soil. This is a talent for shamans,
PvP
and it allows
and
your
PvE are
bloodlust
separate.
to
It
have
really
a
is a
shorter
Christmas
cooldown, but
miracle.
be something that only affects
yeah,
yourself
I don't-
and a single target, rather than the entire group. So it gives you a different spin on an ability that you already have. Another different example would be initiation. This is one that really helps you open up on.
It's when
on
you join a
characters
new
that have,
PvP group and they all beat you up.
Max XP. I mean, not XP, but HP. They're at full health, so it gives you a boost your crit chance when you first start up on them. We have Mind Quickness, a basic passive, increasing your haste. That gives us kind of a tuning knob for how powerful you can be in PvP versus PvE. Necrotic Strike is another really interesting example, because in the Necrotic Strike example, this is an ability that Death Knights have had in the past that allows them to build up a heal absorb effect that kind of absorbs.
I look at all this stuff and I think this sounds
This is
really
cool in
good.
PvP in a lot of
I'm
ways.
excited
It doesn't really
about
have a
it,
lot
but
of
I
use for
still
PvE.
don't know if it's going to be
And
the thing
in a
that gets
world
me
where
back
that's
into
just gonna jumble
PvP.
up a lot of people's
Yeah.
action bars, it feels a lot better to have that kind of thing in a PvP talent system where those talents that really make sense for PvP can be preserved and have that role in the game.
So I hope PvP
And,
people are
really feel like
excited.
they're focused.
That's
Yeah.
that's the
we know
part that's
exactly
hard
what
for
they're
me to
doing.
gauge. Because I don't do it now, it's hard to
So that
say.
brings us to the next concept, which is prestige.
Prestige.
This is a concept that
Did you
we've
even-
seen in other games,
Paragon
obviously
levels,
like Call of
John.
Duty.
Did you even
And the
prestige,
concept
bro?
here is that if you want to, you can essentially reset your honor level and go through it again. And the reason to do this would be for cosmetic rewards entirely. So if you're the type of person that just wants
If
to
you
be
want the
as
golden
powerful as
AK-47, you got a
with all the different
prestige.
PvP options, gameplay options
golden
available.
gun.
You get to honor level 50, you're done, call it a day, have fun, kill a bunch of enemies.
That guy's very reflective.
Upgrade your gear slightly,
Maybe
and
I-
have a good time.
Maybe I do
But if
want
you're
a
the kind of person that
prestige.
really likes the prestige type of rewards, the cosmetic things, then you hit the prestige button, get the little warning dialogue that'll set you back to level 1 of honor rank, and then you go on your way to earning some cosmetic stuff. So, for example, you can earn portrait badges to show how many times.
Good
your
old
has
Torby.
prestige. So
He
you
sure
can
loves
see here on
his
the-
honor
on the different
badges.
portraits, we have an
Portrait
escalating badge.
badges,
That gets more and more impressive.
The problem with
This is
portrait
where we can have
badges
things like
is
unique
that if you
mounts.
use a
So in
custom
this
UI,
example, you know, it's
it
one of the
means
black
nothing.
warhorses
you don't see
we'll
it.
have that'll
Now
be-
that's cool,
The
though.
only way you can get it is to go through the prestige process. And then finally, probably the coolest prestige
Unnecessary
item that you can
spikes
possibly get through the honor
confirmed, by the
system
way.
through prestige
We got there.
are these unique PvP artifact variants. So if you want to get these specific looks for your artifact, the only way to do
what
it
I'm kind of
is to go
getting
through the
from
prestige
this
system.
is there are going to
And
be
that'll
no
signify
weapon
you as
drops
somebody who is
in
really
Legion.
That's an
beat a lot
interesting
of
idea.
honor.
I
Because
like
It's-
that
it's
idea,
all
though.
centered around
Here's a
the
look at a few more.
artifact.
I really
So
like
a lot
that
of those
idea, though.
Yeah,
those
I don't have a
specific
problem.
looks that Ian was pointing out, we're going to reserve one for PvP exclusively.
So if you
Probably
want
very
Demon
dark
Doom
shade
Hammer,
versions of
you
the
gotta
Warcraft.
kill people.
And so that really summarizes what we're talking about for Honor version 3, and hope that to us,
In closing,
it's really exciting for us because it feels like the most significant change we made to PvP in a long time, and hope that you guys are as excited about it as we are. So with that, we conclude our PowerPoint presentation.
one more
explaining
thing.
more about the content.
The
and features.
beta.
I want to thank everybody that's
They
been
don't
here.
usually do a
Obviously,
one more
this
thing.
has
I
been a
know,
lot
I
of
know,
stuff
but
to
I could
digest.
It would be
Yes,
really
I
cool
want
if they
Thank you
did,
guys
though.
for coming to
I'd
see
love
us.
to see them
Really
start doing the
appreciate
and one more
Love you,
thing.
We're going to be on the
YouTube.
We're gonna be.
the live stream on Sunday, where we're going to be answering a number of different questions. Obviously,
Like, where's my transmog
there are
system?
going to be a lot of questions from the
Right?
community over the next couple of
Transmog
days. We're
system
gonna
not
be
in there.
keeping our ears open,
Interesting.
I don't have a
listening
place to put
questions,
anything
and
right
answering
now.
as many of them as we reasonably
Well,
can
look at
during
this
the
way.
live
You're not going to have to
stream on
collect more
Sunday,
weapons.
so stay tuned for that. And finally, hope to see you all in the beta later this year.
Oh,
So,
beta,
thanks.
beta
So
later
much
this year. They
from
kind of
Ian
did
and
do a one more
Alex
thing.
From the World of
Kind
Warcraft
of.
development
Later
team.
this year.
You really shed a lot of light on that expansion for us, and yeah, that even got me more hyped than before, so thank you so
All
much
right.
for all those details. We really saw
So
some amazing
I'm-
things to look forward to, and once
I'm
more, of course,
pausing
in the name
this
of everyone here, thanks a lot for
So,
coming. The guys will
since I
be
got
on the
about
live
like
stream,
5
bluesgc.com. This is where you can find us from
I
tomorrow
gotta go in
onwards.
actually, a
Every
couple.
evening, we're going to have
My
guests
closing
such as
thoughts
the lovely
before I
guys
go,
here
John?
who
Sure.
are talking about their games, and we're going to show what's been happening during the day at
I have said for a long time that I really only care about my main for the most part. But I've also said for a long time that one thing that I really love about World of Warcraft is the story and the lore. And here they come with World of Class quests. This is not necessarily a bad thing. If anything was to ever push me into trying out another class, it might be this.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting me the most. The artifact system seems interesting. I feel like it's different packaging for some things we're already familiar with, but I'm going to reserve judgment on it.
Right.
It's a new way. It's a new way to do advancement and progression and stuff. This is not what I expected it to be, and I don't think it's what every. The funny thing is, this is the expansion that wasn't exactly what everyone wasn't expecting. It's a little bit of what everyone was expecting. So you got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So they got a little bit of everything here. You even got a little bit of space stuff going on with the opening Demon Hunter experience. So all in all, I'm not, oh my gosh, this sucks. I'm intrigued, I'm interested, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think there's still more surprises to be had, especially showing a hunter polearm as the weapon.
Right?
Really makes me wonder what is going to happen class-wise. You know, what are we going to see class changes-wise? And I think there could be some more surprises to be had. They didn't talk at all about level 100 to level 110, what's changing. So,
They
who
also
knows?
haven't mentioned anything about a boost to level 100.
Yeah, they didn't say what level Demon Hunters start at, so who knows? But very exciting regardless.
Yep. So with that, I'm going to bow out because I have to actually go make money now and work a job. And I'll be keeping my eyes on Twitter and reading everyone's reactions. Thank you for having me along with you for the ride.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm going to stick around for just a little bit, kind of
Sure.
give my final thoughts and maybe answer questions from the chat. So, Rho, you have a good day.
All right. See ya, chat room. Bye.
All right, and we're going to keep going. Well, I'm going to keep going. So, yeah, that's, you know, it's kind of interesting. I think Rho kind of nailed it with his thought of, it's not that they picked one thing of kind of everything people were predicting. They were actually kind of touching on a lot of it, you know. We've got a lot of stuff going back to Burning Crusade, obviously, with the story. We've got a lot of stuff going back to Lich King with the Vicroll and all of that. I think there's some big story beats that have yet to be talked about or seen. You know, I think they kind of alluded to the fact that we might be losing a lot of our heroes in this game. And this might be the time where, you know, us as the players have to step up as kind of the leaders of our faction. So I'm really anxious to learn more. It sounds like, you know, there's going to be more information coming than what we just saw on stage, but going off of just what I've seen on stage so far, I'm pretty excited. I think from what I've seen, the Demon Hunter seems, genuinely, all jokes aside, like a very cool class. I do have some concerns about... it doesn't seem very flashy. Like, that was the thing, is, you know, the double jump's cool, that kind of rush is cool, but so far the moves seem very toned down, and that's okay. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but I don't know, I'm definitely curious to learn more about that. I'm going to have a hard time not switching my main to that, but we'll see what happens. I hope it all comes together. Alessandra in the chat, there's not really a coherent story at all in this mess. Collect stuff, get your weapon geared up so we can defeat the Burning Legion. I think that's maybe a little unfair at this point. It does seem like each zone has its own unique full story that is different, but with the base level being go defeat the Burning Legion. So I do agree that that's kind of a common thread amongst a bunch of other stories, but we don't know the connective tissue and how well it's going to all connect. You know, we're probably not going to know that until people are actually playing through it to see if it is going to feel really, you know, out of place when you go from one zone to another, or if there is going to be a logical connection there. So, I don't know. It's a lot to process. I'm excited. You know, I usually am after the announcement. I'm excited about a new class. That's always a thing that's exciting to me because I play a lot of different classes. But now I'm like sitting here and I'm thinking, you know, okay, well, what main do I want to carry over into that game? Because, you know, first love, rogues, current love, monks. Demon Hunter seems really cool. I've always enjoyed my Paladin as kind of this side character that I play. So, we'll see where it ultimately leads. I like this weird disconnect from Alliance and Horde. You know, the way it appeared on stage almost felt like, well, the Alliance and Horde are falling apart. So we're going to go off and do our own thing, almost, is how it came across. And I'm really curious where the story goes with regards to that. I'm not thrilled about going up to level 110. It's a weird personal hang-up for me, I'll say that. 110 seems like a really stupid number to be at. When one of the reasons you put into this game a boost to level 90 is that the levels are getting crazy. When that's a thing, I think at some point you have to make the concession that you need to stop upping levels each expansion. And I think 100 is the prime point to do that. but who knows? Maybe they will do a level squish at some point or something. You know, personal opinion, I think we're at a weird place where level doesn't even matter that much. It almost feels arbitrary, so it's strange. And actually, I had someone tweet us saying, we can call it Paragon level 10 if we want, though. We can take it back. I'm more okay with that. I'm more okay with that thing. I do agree, chat. I know numbers are just things. This is my weird hang-up. Level 111 is even worse. Oh my gosh, just saying that does weird things to me. I don't know why I'm weird about the numbers. I was really happy when we got to 100. I felt like we could stop. Not playing the game altogether. We could stop leveling. We could figure something else out. So if you ever hear me call it Paragon 10 at any point, that's because I couldn't get over my weird obsession with level 110 being a weird number. Also, it's going to be weird as you're leveling up. I'm 103 right now. You know, for that 3 days where we're leveling before we get to max level. Where's Jaina? She'll be the Violet Hold final boss. Actually, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. I'd be actually kind of curious about that. I am wondering where Jaina is. So, you know, we've got a lot of characters in WoW. It is a predominantly male hero-driven game, and there's not a lot of ladies doing much in WoW. So, Jaina mysteriously disappearing is weird because, you know, that's taking another piece off the board. So I'm wondering where she's gone. I hope she's okay. All they said is that she's mad. I don't know. I guess she can be mad. She's super happy in Heroes of the Storm, so if you want happy Jaina, you can play Heroes. Every time you select her, she just says, I'm here to help. I like that, Jaina. I really like the idea of Violet Hold coming back. I think that's a funny idea that, hey, if Dalaran goes somewhere, Violet Hold comes through too. It sounds like they're going to do something very different with it. In my mind, there's a happy part of me that just imagines it as the exact same as Violet Hold before, except different cells get opened this time. I know that's not what they're doing, but I like to pretend that that's what they're doing. What is my favorite class? That's not easy to answer. I would have told you Rogue prior to Mists of Pandaria, because that's what I have played the most. I've played multiple Rogues to max level. Once Mist came out, I did a full switch over to Monk, and have been Monk ever since, and really, really like it. But the problem, and this might apply to Demon Hunters as well, the problem with the new classes is they tend to come in at a point where it makes a lot of sense story-wise. So, you know, we go to Pandaria, so now there's monks, or, you know, Lich King, now there's Death Knights. And so they're really interesting and compelling for that expansion. And then their whole purpose and aesthetic and lore kind of disappears at that point. So it gets a little weird once the expansion's over. So going into Warlords, you know, there's really nothing. Monks just become another class at that point. And that's kind of true of all the vanilla classes as well. I don't want to say that they're super important all the time and always relevant and none of the others are. But as a result, because the lore is interesting and that's the part of the game that I really care about, now I'm super excited about Demon Hunters, where I think about Monk and they say, okay, well, you're going to be in charge of your class and going back to class things. It's like, well, yeah, I'm going to go back to Pandaria. But it feels like everything in Pandaria is done at this point. So I want to really like Rogues still. I just don't feel that they've been great since then. Let's see. What else do you have to change or talk about here? Chat, sorry, I was reading about Anduin changing, yes. Well, Anduin's growing up. Yes, Overwatch has been added to everybody's launcher. It is essentially an advertisement at this point. Although, I think you can actually follow the link to sign up for the beta through there, if you're not already. They did say the expansion title right at the beginning. It's a short title, though, so it got skipped. It's just Legion. So if we want to abbreviate it, we will just write L in a big capital letter. Actually, we will probably all just call it Legion. No stream tomorrow for anything they're doing tomorrow. I feel like we've kind of seen a lot of the stuff that's going on with Heroes. We already kind of know what to expect, so I'm excited about it. But we're not going to stream it or anything. Also, I have to work. I could only get one day. It's the best I could hope for. But no, I'm excited. You know, I'm hopeful. They came in and they sold me on a solid expansion, right? You know, I don't know if you're mad about Warlords of Draenor, and I'm not mad. There's a difference between not liking an expansion and being actively, like, angry about it. I'm not angry about Warlords of Draenor. It's not my favorite expansion. It happens, you know. Before Warlords, I didn't care for Cataclysm that much, and that's okay. They've sold me on what looks to be a pretty solid expansion. They said a lot of things that sound like, you know, it's going to address a lot of the issues that I had with Warlords, and I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty exciting and a good way to go. Do I feel like this is a reactionary expansion where we need to hit everything and make the anti-Warlords of Draenor? No. I think this is very much just they wanted to make a good expansion. Hopefully they do, and it looks good. Also, I love the idea of artifact weapons, because waiting for weapons to drop is the worst thing in the world. So if I can just have an awesome expansion with weapons I don't need to get, I'm okay with that. And yes, story seems to be a big focus here. And I'm okay with that. So I mean, yeah, and I don't... So, Kurzog in the chat is saying, rate Warlords of Draenor an A+. Sure. You know, everybody's gonna like something. Like, they didn't make an expansion and set out to make the worst expansion of all time. Like, that was certainly not their goal. They made something that spoke to what they thought were the right sensibilities at the time, and obviously there's going to be an audience for it. The numbers don't lie. Obviously, it didn't hold a lot of people. So I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm going to just say that it's awesome you got a good expansion out of that. Clearly, they have decided to now take things in a different direction. And hopefully you can continue to get rich and have great raid zones and have a good time with that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So for anybody who doesn't know, I guess in closing, I'll say this. We are not recording our show tomorrow. We're not doing our typical show then. We are actually going to record Sunday. I don't have the exact time in front of me, but we're going to do it after the developer Q&A. So we will actually be able to talk about the things there, because Ben and I both felt like going in and doing a whole bunch of speculation and thoughts and all of that, only to have the very next day or over the course of the weekend have a bunch of information come out that contradicts or answers the questions we ask, isn't going to be as good as if we just push back the recording and be able to give you all that information. So we will be up again then. I might try and stream a little Heroes or something in the meantime. That will be before the next show. We'll see what happens, but otherwise, I hope everybody has a good Thursday. I almost said Friday. Ugh, I'm all messed up. This all messed me up. And thank you for joining us for this. I apologize for the delay in streams. I now know to go with the Twitch stream instead of the YouTube stream. At least for now. I typically like the YouTube stream better, but I think with Blizzard featuring that prominently, I think it probably taxed it a bit more than the Twitch one would get. So, you know, lesson learned. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.